Sales are an issue for small businesses. How do you get more? How can we get a constant stream of business? How can we fill the pipeline? Well, today we have an interesting topic. We're going to talk about sales and how you can use other companies to build a collaborative sales process. Welcome to the KeyHire Small Business Podcast, where we cover the issues that help owners scale their small business. I'm Corey Harlock, creator of KeyHire Solutions, and I'll be your host. Our guest today is Mark Newsome, and he's the founder and CEO of YouCanMarketOnlineNow.com, where he consults with non-franchise small business and retail business owners. He specializes in helping business owners and service providers generate 25% more gross profit without having to constantly spend at least 500% more in customer traditional acquisition costs. In his spare time, he geeks out on financial wealth generating strategies, and he self-published a book called How to Profit from Discounted Notes. Matt, let's bring on Mark. Welcome.
Hey, Corey, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for allowing me to be a guest, man.
It's my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Where are you sitting here today? I forget where you are.
I am in a town. I guarantee you the room you're in is bigger. It's called Gilmer, Texas. It's not, they don't have the one horse, Corey. You know what I'm talking? Very, very, very small.
What's the closest big city to you?
Oh, probably Dallas.
Okay, so you're up north. So Matt's in Austin, I'm in Houston, you're up near Dallas. So we're all close. We got Texas covered today.
You got Texas covered. I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah, a bunch of, I'm a non-Texan, but Canadian living in Texas. I think Matt, Matt's from, I think, Colorado or something. I don't know if he's originally a Texan, but he'll correct me if I'm wrong. Are you originally from Texas?
I was going to say, no, I'm a transplant too, man, from New York, cold New York State to here.
There you go. Okay. Well, I think we're all hold on. What's he telling me here? He is from Colorado. Yeah. So we're from all over the continent, all here in Texas.
There you go.
Cool. So you, when we initially met, you had a very cool concept about marketing and using kind of building a sales process, but working with other businesses and partners to do that. So I'm excited to talk about that today because I know sales drive business and everyone's always want to know, how do you get more sales?
Absolutely. So true. Right off the rip, let me say this, Corey. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Corey has built and is in the process of building a gigantic audience. Now, you and I could spend the same effort and time trying to go out there and compete against him, or we could partner up and get on his show by offering value to his audience. Well, the same thing is going on right now. I guarantee you, I don't care where you are in the world. There are two non-directly competing companies that are leveraging each other's strengths. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say Corey owns a gigantic retail appliance store, and he sells a lot of product, and and this is for you retailers too. Think about this. You walk into his store and you see a big four-way sign in the middle of the store that says free drawing. Win a $10,000 home deluxe entertainment system, whatever that entails, right? Now, his hard costs are, say, $5,000. But get this. Over the last 6 years, even after 7% of the people have, for whatever reason, unsubscribed, Corey has a local opt-in email list that's made up of 37,000, we just use round number, 37,000 subscribers. So guess what he says to me? Corey, is it okay if I share with your audience the magic question?
Okay. Am I supposed to ask you what's the magic question, Mark?
Absolutely, my friend. Corey, is it okay if I periodically refer you new business and customers?
Please.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? Now, by the same token, this is your follow-up. As long as it doesn't take away from anything you're currently doing or will have going in the not so distant future. Corey, pardon me, are you okay with periodically returning the favor?
Right, of course, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, 99% of the time, if you ask that question to somebody you already have an established relationship, that's the answer you're going to get. So here's the way it would work. I'm going to draw up a coupon. Corey's going to send it out to his list, his email list. And he's going to say, hey, my buddy Mark over there at Mark's Bakery, he's having a sale just for my subscribers, my VIP subscribers. That means you. You go over there, show him the coupon on your phone. It's time sensitive, meaning 3 days, 72 hours, whatever it is. And instead of paying $11.97 for his big gulp cup drink, you pay $3.97 the first time. And every time you bring the cup back, Mark's going to let you have that same big gulp for 99 cents. Now, hold on, ladies and gentlemen, before you say, hey, I'm not in that. Here's the point that you're missing. You see how he and I are partnering up? You could have an insert that goes into their outgoing mail, couldn't you? An extremely time-sensitive gift certificate or discount coupon that says, hey, come do business with us. And the first transaction we do is going to be a discount or some bonus incentive, Corey, to get you to come with me. Now, would you rather do that or compete with all the noise in the marketplace, trying to outshine everybody by outspending everybody with traditional advertising?
Now, I see that working for retail for sure, local, right? When your audience is local. What about if you're a heavier business, right? Maybe you're warehouse distribution or manufacturing. Is there a scenario you would see how they could do this?
Absolutely. And what a setup, Corey. So I'm so glad you asked. Think about it this way.
I get lucky every now and again, Mark.
Yeah, you're right. Think about it this way. That the two industries he just mentioned, guess what they have in common? They have customers, they have employees, they have vendors. So our job as a marketer is to find out what he needs, who can give it to him, and either get in the middle to get an affiliate commission or barter with Corey. For example, you might be Corey's what we call back end, and I want to define that, ladies and gentlemen. We don't talk in code. It just means all the additional sales after the first sale. You may have a product that is our service, non-directly competing with Corey's. So you couple that on what we call a back end, or Corey can be your back end. That is probably, in my opinion, Corey, the simplest, straightforward way to leverage the other person's assets and strengths.
So what would an example of that look like, Mark?
Okay, well, that's a good question. Give me an idea of a specific manufacturer or warehouse, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So I have a client who does janitorial supplies, and they manufacture floor cleaning machines, and they distribute janitorial supplies. So let's make it real simple: toilet paper, floor mats, hand towels, things like that.
Okay. Well, whoever their customers are, think of the other services that go along with that. Now, I'm not really in the janitorial supply businesses, but they have vendors who need their products. Those customers are ripe for them. Here's one concept you need to go Google, ladies and gentlemen, or go to YouTube. Lifetime customer value. I have no idea what it is for each business or service. It doesn't matter, but we all have one. Corey has one. I have one. Right. When you know how much your customer is worth over time, then you take a small slither of that, like people standing in the grocery store offering at the end of, you got the good looking women at the end of the each aisle offering you and I a little sample.
Right.
Then you let them sample it on a small scale, knowing that a percentage of them are going to lead to long-term repeat customers. And ladies and gentlemen, that's where the money is. Don't get caught up on the front end only. In other words, don't spend if you can, don't invest an enormous amount of money just trying to get a first-time customer.
Right.
That's how most small businesses, right, Corey, they go broke because they're top-sided. They spend 80 to 90% getting a customer. And then when they get the customer, they can't make up in volume because they've spent too much on the front end. What I'm saying is, like he said, the supplies, whatever they are, like for instance, If they know how much a machine costs, let somebody who would need the other stuff that goes along with the machine, let them get the machine at cost or 10% above cost, because you want to leverage what they're going to purchase from you from now on, or repeat every month, or this, that, and the other.
Right.
That's a simple way to get into the door.
Right. So
And
it's like
again,
if you sell cleaning towels, give people a laundry machine for free so they can wash them, and they buy your detergent, and they buy your towels, they buy all your stuff.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave because it's obvious he's got this thing figured out. But exactly, that's exactly the kind. But do it on a mathematical sense. In other words, don't guesstimate. Figure out, within reason, what is my customer worth? Now you got a budget. And here's the other thing, Corey, we got to share with them. Ladies and gentlemen, do not, I repeat, do not draw up a figure, pluck it out of the air and say, that's my budget. Nonsense. You can only afford what your business or service can afford. So get an idea of what it is, and then get creative, like what he just said. You take something and say, okay, can we give this away at cost or just above cost to be competitive? And then knowing we're going to make it up on the back end with the additional sales. In fact, here's something else. Think about this. What if the product and service I sell, I advertise? Corey can come along and say, hey, Mark, we'll pay for your advertising because, A, we know how to write ads that convert. Right. Now we just took that chunk off the table for you. Excuse me. Now you make money on the customer, and then we'll put what we do on the back end. Companies do this kind of stuff, the savvy ones, pardon me, all the time, Corey. It's like, think of it this way, ladies and gentlemen. Corey and I are saying 7 plus 3. Matt says 8 plus 2. The next one says 9 plus 1. The next one says 10, 20 minus 10. Mathematically, that's all 10, is it not?
Okay.
That's how you get there. You got to think a little conceptually, because if you think linear, just, I'm in this business and that won't work for me. Think of, I have customers. Somebody else has inactive customers. Maybe you can do something for them and get a referral. That's a big one. Or a testimonial. Or a hashtag. Mention this on social media. I wouldn't know right off the bat what to do, Matt, but with an audit of their company or service, we'll come up with some things, because there's a ton of underutilized assets just sitting around. They don't see them as assets or resources because they think linear. They say, well, no, that's 8 plus 2. And they don't realize that 40 minus 30 is 10. So we can get them there.
Okay. So let's walk through some mistakes then. Like, what are some of the biggest mistakes? And for context, let's keep it to, retail, localized kind of business, because I think this concept is more suitable for that, like a retail, a franchise, someone who's trying to market to their local area. What are some of the top or key mistakes or missed opportunities you see people making out there in terms of leveraging other people's sales processes?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's a simple one, ladies and gentlemen. Matt walks into your store, or I do, and we buy something. Your people are very professional. They're very courteous. Matt walks out of the store. Big mistake. What do you say, Mark? You need to have a market-tested, extremely time-sensitive bounce back offer. That's the sort of the term we use, on the consulting side. Right. It's just a fancy way of saying you give them a coupon, you date it, and you say, hey, as long as you come back by this time, you save X. But then you put a sweetener on it, Matt. I'm just going to contextualize it. You say you get 10% off your next purchase up to $100. However, simply for dragging a friend who's at least 18, you get 30% off, or X, within that same amount of time. Now, give me the opportunity, Matt. If you're a regular, are you more apt to want to save 30% on your next purchase or 10%?
Yeah, I guess it depends how many friends I have, right? If I don't have any friends, I got to settle for 10%.
Right. But if not, look what you just did. Now, your competitor has to go back into the marketplace, run a cold ad. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I hate saying this, but Corey and I know this is the truth. The time you're investing to look at this podcast or any others of his, somebody in your local marketplace ran a 30 or 60-second ad. You and I didn't see it, and the money still came out of the budget anyway.
Right. Hey,
right?
But I want to go back. You said a proven bounce back offer. So how do we go about proving the offer? Is there a process for that?
This guy set me up so beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a fancy word that Corey and I and other people that market and advertise like to throw around. It's called A/B split testing. It's just a fancy way of saying when your customers come in, you offer this, you offer that, and then you just simply tally the numbers. If it's really close, it doesn't matter, but usually there will be a gap. Yeah. So that tells you to go with this, over that.
Matt loves it when I ask him if we're going to A/B test something. Nothing excites him more.
That's it. Because
so I think what I heard you saying, Mark, was if you're going to try this bounce back offer, and I like the idea of a bounce back offer, try a few, 2 or 3, right?
2 or 3.
And then keep a little tally sheet behind the till.
There you go.
When people come in with this coupon, you tick it. They come in with this one, you tick it. And then after 30, 60, 90 days, you'll see, okay, we got 30 coupon A's, we got 50 coupon B's, and we got 10 coupon C's. Now let's just invest in coupon B and give those ones out.
And get on with it. Now, here's the other thing too, Matt, that people have to realize. When they answer that phone, you have them if you got 2 people, one answers with response A.
Before we get into advice, I want to stay with the mistakes, because we'll get into the advice after, because you're getting ready to give away some good info.
Okay.
We got to keep people interested here. We don't want to give it all away too early.
That's true. I'm sorry. Okay, Here's another major mistake, ladies and gentlemen. Stop treating your business like a one-night stand. What the heck does that mean, Mark? It means you invest all this time, money, and effort, and typically, Corey, what's the numbers? Like 500% more to create that first-time customer on or offline. And then as soon as you get them, you drop them like it's hot and go chasing the next retail customer. Nonsense. You drill down. What do you mean? You have additional offers and services, and you leverage that relationship. They can give you testimonials. They can refer you. They can bring new customers to you. They can buy additional products and services, and you don't have to spend retail to have gotten them. That's why I suggest start your own opt-in email list.
That's where I was going to go, because I buy something online and man, they hammer me with deals, right? And the question that I had for you as you were talking was, what's the ratio of, small business owners, retail, brick and mortar stores that have an email list versus the online stores where people are buying online, right? Like when I buy online, I got to create an account. I got to enter my email, my phone number, just so they'll ship the shit to me, whatever I buy. Right. I walk into a retail store and they say to me, can I get your email? I say, no, thanks. Are you sure? You could save 5%. I'm like, I get enough emails, right? So 5% isn't worth, my email is worth more than 5% today, right? So how do we go about building this list in a way that isn't so expected, right? Every time I go to a store and I go to pay, they say, are you paying on your whatever KeyHire credit card today? Nope. Oh, well, would you like, if you sign up? And I'm like, yeah, I got enough credit cards. I'm good. I don't need yours. Right. So I guess where I'm going is there's lots of ways, and I'm a crusty old man. So I'm like, I don't want any of this. But you gotta keep doing it, I guess, because some people will say, "Oh, heck yeah, I'll do that," or people wouldn't keep doing it. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm talking. I started with one question. I'm ending with a second question. But as I talk, it's like, okay, you got to find creative ways, or you got to do tried and true ways. But you have to expect your rejection rate, right? I always feel sorry for these people at the cash register. They're like these teenagers just trying to make some extra money. They're like, would you like to buy extra soap with your groceries today? I'm like, no. And then my wife and I leave and we're like, those kids get rejected all day long. It's a hard way to earn money. So how do you, maybe the question I'm asking is, how do you prepare your staff to do this? Take the rejection and just keep going out there and taking swings to try to build this list?
It's an excellent question. Two things, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of alluded to it before. You want to, you've got to find out what your customer is worth. Then I say you have a free drawing, monthly free drawing in the store, and you have big signs. I call it like a four-way. Wherever they go in the store, they can see this sign. That's the first way you try to list.
So they're going to voluntarily offer their information without being asked, because they want to be in it to win it, because it's something worth winning.
And okay. Oh, wait a minute, though. You made another point, and we got to address this. You heard him mention 5% off. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not going to cut it. That's like saying I have a job and it pays minimum wage. Are you interested? No. I mean, it's got to be sexy. And the only way you can get sexy, you got to know what that customer is worth. And then you can put something, like for instance, if you have something on a closeout, you put that up as the grand first prize. And here's a little twist, just for Corey's audience. You have 2 guaranteed winners, 1 male, 1 female. Ooh, and this is every month. Now, everybody's thinking, hey, I got a much better chance to be the male or the female winner. You're absolutely correct. And that'll get more people on the line. Now, the other thing the cashiers could do, in my opinion, they could test. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to test. Yeah. When somebody spends, okay, I'm going to go into character with Corey right now. Corey just spent X. It doesn't matter. And I say, oh, sir, by the way, with your purchase right now, you've just qualified for a special bonus if you'd like to hear about it. He may or may not want to hear about it. But if he does,
I'm good.
You know, well, if he does, and you're going to get some of that. Let's be honest now.
Yeah, I told you I'm a grumpy old man.
Corey, there's a certain iconic worldwide fast food chain. When you and I go in there or come through the window, and
you want to supersize that.
Yeah, or they say, would you like fries with that?
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't go for it, but you know what? Enough people go for it that the executives of this unknown iconic franchise, their kids go to the best colleges on the planet. They live in the nicest houses. They drive the nicest cars. They got some of the biggest bank accounts. From that 6-word phrase, would you like fries with that? And then he just made another powerful point. When you and I say yes, whatever that percentage is, daily 40% or whatever it is that says yes, they automatically come back and say, if you say you'd like fries, would they say, supersize you? And look what just happened.
Yeah.
This is the leverage that you're sitting on, ladies and gentlemen. It's untapped. It's untapped. And with email, you could send 2 emails in a week as opposed to direct mail. You got to pay for postage. You got to pay for typesetting. And some of it's going to get thrown in the trash. If they just delete your emails, it's not the best situation, but it's way better than constantly paying that fee. And for a small business, that's too much money, right? Right, Corey? Yep. Too much money for you and I to be spending.
So, Mark, I think we're onto something here. I like this concept of the draw, right? Like, and it's got to be good. Like, if I'm going in, I would assume, it kind of has to be at least 10x the average spend of the store, the value of that item, correct? If I'm going into a clothing store and I'm going to spend $100 on a golf shirt, right? So for me, because emails and phone numbers are I put a high value on my email and my phone number, because I already get enough emails and I already get enough texts, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So for me to cross that chasm and say, it's worth it for me to get some emails from these people for an opportunity to win that, if I'm spending $100 on a shirt and your grand prize is $50, the ROI is not there for me, right? It's probably got to be $500 or $1,000 item. Maybe it's like, if it's a men's shop, maybe it's like a custom fit suit that's $1,200, or you know what I mean? Like something, it's got to have a wow factor to it. It can't just be oh, we got this old dusty, tweed jacket with the leather elbows that we can't get rid of. We'll give it away as the thing, right?
Exactly. Now you're making so many excellent points. But here's something else, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to
get lucky every now and again, Mark.
Here's something else I want you to think about. This is very powerful. If you start to test this, I guarantee you're going to see some results. Let's say Corey comes in with his wife, and they say, and you offer him the shirt, and they say, oh, by the way, sir, just by purchasing the ties and the socks, your wife gets a bouquet of flowers. Now, again, this has to fit into your total lifetime customer value. It's very hard for him with his wife or his daughter, his girlfriend standing right there for him to say, nah, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah, you kind of put the squeeze on him. Yeah,
you just put the squeeze. And if she's female, you do the same thing. If she comes in the store with kids, or the father comes in the store with kids, you got something for the kids to say, "Daddy, please," or "Mommy, please."
Sure. Yeah.
Very powerful.
Interesting. Okay, I like
money is walking out of your business every day, additional profit, and it's going down the street to your competitors, and they're getting that money.
So I think what I hear you saying is, there's the old traditional kind of, like I said before, can I get your email? Oh, you're not a member. Would you like to buy the credit card? We get pounded with that stuff so much, it's just noise now, right? In fact, we get pounded with it so much, it's easier just to go buy it online. Like to figure out what you want, go home and buy it online, because you don't have to deal with it, right?
Right.
So I think what you're saying is we got to get out of that and be more creative. I do like the giveaway. I think that could be a cool thing. I like that stuff. Everyone likes to, if I could win an iPad, sure, I'll drop my name in there. That's kind of cool. I'll take an iPad, right? Or like if I was in a men's shop, because I'm a guy and that's what I would do. If I had a chance to win a custom suit, shit, yeah, I would give you my name and email for that. So we got to get out of our zone, figure out who our core audience is. I think you said, your core kind of sales message, and then really provide some value to your core customer, right? Enough of your core customers, because if you're going to give away, I said a $1,200 custom suit, I think that's pretty cheap. But if it's a $1,200 suit, if you only got 5 emails from that, it's probably not the right you're not getting the value out of it. But if you got 100 emails out of that, of people that were in your store shopping, or maybe they didn't buy anything, but they thought, well, I'll take a crack at the suit, right? Maybe now we're getting somewhere, and then we craft a nice email campaign after to say, hey, thanks for coming in. Thanks for participating. Because you participated, we're going to have on Tuesday from 5 to 10 for invite only. We're going to have come in and you can get whatever you want, 25% off, whatever it is. And then now we just start nurturing that relationship. Am I on the right track?
No, you better believe you are. In fact, let's take this, ladies and gentlemen, this is fabulous. Let's take this a step further, because he's hit on so many things. Let's say you did get 100 emails and you're thinking, oh man, that wasn't. You've now got the ability to be an affiliate for somebody else's product. For example, on that capture page, I hope I'm not using, Corey, if I get too far into the nomenclature, you got to bring me back.
You're good. Yeah, I would ask you.
Page where this means this, you want to get their emails.
Yeah.
You could have a little box on there that says, click this box if you only want to be notified when we have closeout sales and from other offers from other local vendors. Well, they click that box, and guess what? They've said, hey, send me some of this stuff. So now he can send that offer that some other store is having, autos, auto mechanic or whatever it is.
Yeah, sure.
And they can save some money.
Yeah.
And you show, and get this. Let's say Corey's the barber, and I'm the retail appliance store, right? And I say to Corey, here, man, I'm going to give you 500 business cards. All you do is print legibly your first and last name on the back of my card. I'll already have written, mention Corey's Barbershop, save 10% off up to $100. That's not very sexy. Simply for dragging a friend, save 40% up to $2,000. Whoa.
Right.
See the leverage? And I tell Corey, every time one of these is redeemed, I give you $50. When you reach 10, go over 10, 11 on, it's 100.
Yeah. I mean, and you just hand them out in volume, and someone's going to need new appliances at one point. And if I can get 10% off appliances because they're big ticket items, now I'm interested. And I'm at the barber shop and he goes, hey, just throw this in your wallet. That's easy. He's not asking me for anything.
That's right.
And he's giving me something. I don't have to give you my name, my number, my email, anything.
Exactly. We'll do that when you get in the store. But I was going to say the other thing is you tell them they got a 72-hour window. Because like you said, you don't want to put it in the car, to put it in their wallet and then forget about it for 6 months. No.
Well, they forget about it anyway. Yeah.
It's time sensitive.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of synergy that's out. And now think about this. I could show Corey and all of his stylists. Here's what I'm going to do. Every week, whichever one of you produces the most paying customers for that week, I give you a $200 bonus. Ooh, on top of the $50 or whatever I'm paying you. Right. Now let's take it a step further. Every time you lead the pack from now on, you get double the cash prize. So in other words, instead of $200 or whatever it is, you get $400.
You're creating your own little commission sales force.
I was going to say, that's it. Man, I'm going to leave, guys, because he's got this figured out.
So we're moving on now. So let's then go, other than calling you, Mark, a lot of good stuff came out of this. What are the top kind of 3 to 5 pieces of advice you give someone to get this process started, right? The first bite of the elephant. Like if they just wanted to, if they're thinking about this and they're thinking, okay, it sounds like a lot of work to figure all this stuff out. What are the first few steps just to get some momentum, get the ball rolling?
Excellent point. Ladies and gentlemen, figure out, like I said, go to YouTube or Google, say, what is lifetime customer value? Get that concept down. Now you know what you can really afford. The next thing is leverage your current customers that are coming in.
Right.
We call it add-on sale. Something, but now, again, like you said, you got to find a sexier way of saying it. But the point is, you offer additional products and services for them to potentially buy. Like if they're getting peanut butter, they need jelly, that kind of thing, right?
Sure.
The other thing you got to do is you got to ethically bribe them to come back, but bring somebody.
Ethical bribe.
Now you're making more money.
Right. I guess that's the key, right? Yeah.
Right? You're making money. And I will say this. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget this. Unless your last name is Zuckerberg, you and I do not own social media. You want to get those people off social media and onto your own opt-in email list. There's nothing wrong with social media, but they could shut your account down tomorrow.
Right.
And all that effort you've put into it, it's gone. I've seen it happen. I know Corey's heard about it happening.
Oh,
it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
So that's the thing, though, is you got to give them a reason to want to be on your list, right? And so, just kind of reviewing what you've been talking about. First thing is find your lifetime customer value. Probably make sure you know who your core customer is. And then you got to build this out, right? So are we going to do a giveaway? Are we going to do a boomerang offer, a bring back offer? Are we going to do both? How much money do we have to invest? Can we make this giveaway worthwhile? Remember, it's got to be 5x your lifetime customer spend or your average customer spend. It's got to be noteworthy. And then give them a reason to want to pay with their email or their phone number, because just asking for it, I just hit my mic here. I think I just turned it off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I think I turned my mic off by accident. Just asking for it, everyone's asking for it. And you almost have to make them feel like it's, why wouldn't I give it to you? Versus, I don't want to give it to you, but if I have to, I'm going to, right? And then as soon as you send me your first marketing email, I'm just going to unsubscribe. That's my mindset. Like I'll sign up, I'll buy something online. I got to put my info and I'm like, I know I'm never going to buy from this place again. It was just a one-time deal. As soon as that first marketing comes, I just go unsubscribe because I knew it was coming. So you got to get over that, right? And you're still going to have a fair amount of people that are going to do it.
Absolutely.
It's a number.
In fact, one other point, because he's making so many excellent points. Let's say, again, he's the barber, and I got him and all the other stylists. I tell them, as soon as you guys reach 5 customers, you can come in the store, as long as you bring somebody with you, and I'll let you get a 65-inch television at cost. Now, what's that all about? Because now when they're watching the Super Bowl or whatever they're watching, they're bragging about this TV they got from me, which means when you get on my email list, you're going to want to stay on there.
Yeah, that's so you just jarred my memory way back when I was in hospitality. I used to like build wine lists and do stuff like that. And my team of servers, evening servers, and we did a lot of wine business. They came to me with an idea because I used to do lots of training, and they're like, we want to do our own training. And what we want to do is every week we're going to pool in our money, and each of us is going to pick a region, and we want to we'll do all the research, and then we'll educate the other servers on that region. But we want to buy the wine from you, but we want to buy it at cost out of the cellar. And I was like, beautiful, done. Because they would sit around once a week and drink beautiful wine cheaply, right? As cheap as it could be. But then when the guests came into the restaurant, they were like, you got to try this wine. I drank it yesterday. It's beautiful. It's a little expensive, but and our average price per bottle of wine went up, and I actually came out way ahead.
There you go.
Right? Because the sales and the markup on that wine far outweighed the revenue I didn't make on the 6 bottles of wine I sold them at cost.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, there's a ton of things here. I hope you guys took some notes because we kind of moved really fast, but that's spot on, Corey.
I like for the local retailers to, my mind is swimming right now, but there's a lot of good stuff in there. So, Mark, awesome. Lots of good information. Like you said, I think we were swirling around. There's a million things in there. If people are listening to this and thinking, man, I want to pick Mark's brain, or I want to reach out to him and see what he does, how do we get in touch with you?
2 ways, ladies and gentlemen. They should have my web address in there. YouCanMarketOnlineNow.com. Boom. And my LinkedIn address. And let me just say this quickly as a courtesy to Corey's fabulous audience. If you are a retail jeweler, a retail furniture concern, a retail appliance center, please reach out to me because I have a way to help you blow this thing up like you can't believe. Everybody else, you're welcome. But I'm saying you and that please contact me. We can blow this thing up.
Mark, that was awesome. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. I can't wait to start sharing this all over the place.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Thanks, sir. Appreciate your time. Excellent. All right. There you go. Mark Newsome, a ball of energy, a lot of good ideas, a natural showman. I'd like to thank you for tuning into the KeyHire Small Business Podcast. If you got value out of today's episode, you want to keep up to date on our new content, smash that follow button. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Feel free to leave us a comment, or in the comment section, you can even put potential topics you'd like us to discuss. We are here to help you. If you prefer to listen to your podcast, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple, whatever your favorite platform is. Just search up KeyHire Small Business Podcast. I'd like to thank you for listening to the episode today. I'm Corey Harlock, and until next time, stop grinding, start growing.